And now the horse and the rider, where now the horn that was blowing, where now the helm and the harbour, and the bright hair flowing, where now the hand on the harp string, o'er the red fire glowing, and now the spring and the harvest, and the tall corn growing. They have passed like rain on the mountain, like a wind in the meadow. They have gone down in the west, behind the hills, into shadow. Who will gather the smoke of the dead wood burning, or behold the flowing years of the sea returning? Morning. Well, good evening. Evening, Lane. Stefan, how are we doing? Sorry, I was listening to Clamavi De Profundis before I went on stream. Yes. Sending some Hexor candles. The last of the Hexor candles. Morning, Bruce. How you doing? Bryce. Bryce. Morning, Bryce. It went alright, Lane. It went alright. It went on the knife, at least. A few days. It's Saturday. Sorry, mate. I have a couple friends named Bruce, and so every time I see Bryce, I just want to say Bruce. How we going, Jared? Yeah, the handle went on the knife. That's basically all I can say about it at this point. I've been having severe, I don't know, show anxiety, I suppose you could call it. And so every minor fuck up that I made seems like 10 times worse than it actually is. If you haven't done a knife show before, it's something that happens quite a bit. Is that when you go to your first show, or even your second show, or even your 10th show, you get that imposter syndrome. Or at least I do. I get really bad imposter syndrome. So, I'm struggling with that. I can imagine it would have been a little confusing, Bryce. That's for sure. I will endeavour not to make the same mistake. Yes, imposter syndrome. Quite a common phenomenon among anxious people and craftsmen. Morning, Cat. Or it's evening. Evening for me. Fair enough, Jared. It's not so much the making something new that I I sweat. Imposter syndrome comes down to feeling like you're pretending to know or do something well that you know yourself you don't do very well. Or, it's like when you go to teach on a subject, even if you've been studying it for a long time. Yeah, Stefan's kind of got it. It's you feel like you're an imposter. You feel like you're in a place that you're not supposed to be. You're not, don't deserve to be there. Although I get it a lot when people are, oh, you got to sleep in, Roy. Awesome. Um. Well, I mean, unless you're actually going to use it, Lane, I'd say leave it coiled. Yeah, Jared, I know. That's true. Thanks. I like my mug too. It's become my mug. It was my stepson's mug, but I accidentally left it next to my welding bench, and it got a whole bunch of weld spatter. It's on this side. It looks like it's been hit by a shotgun. So now it's mine, which is fine because I like Pikachu. We have several. Stefan's got you beat, Jared. How many pieces of mine you got, Stefan? Like 5? I think you got 5. Yeah, you got a bottle opener, 4 hammers. You've also got my guillotine tool, but that's not. That is of my creation, but you're always a water type starter guy. Fair enough. I didn't choose the mug. I was always a fire type starter. And seeing as I played Pokemon Gold, I was a that just completely escapes me. Plus, I really like hedgehogs. All right, Lane. Thanks, mate. Well, I hope that you don't stop giving me all your money, because as much as I would like to give you more of my work, I much appreciate the Patreon support. If I ever have a spare Hexhawk. Well, I'm taking 5 to the show. Hey, Foxrun. Hey, Alan. It's only 9 o'clock. It's not that late. You often see me on Tim's live stream, which is normally like 11 o'clock. Evening, everyone. Evening. Well, I kind of hope so, Jared. I kind of like him too. But I'm taking 5 with me, and if any come home, they'll be back up on my Etsy. There were 2 of my Hexhawks on the Etsy page for like fucking, what was it? For weeks. I took them down because they're coming with me to the show now. I don't actually like Francescas at all. They're ugly as hell. They're ungainly as hell. Give me a tomahawk any day. Mostly just knives. There were a couple of like, as far as the custom makers go, because it's a show, you get a lot of like um, they get a lot of the kind of production makers, like the surplus guys and stuff like that, the outdoor sales guys. So they had a whole bunch of like hatchets and axes and stuff, saws, and there were a couple of like production line knife sellers there, like Buck Knives had a table there, and Djo. But as far as the custom maker scene, it's pretty much all knives, mostly kitchen knives, a couple hunters. Yeah, but mostly kitchen cutlery. Yeah. No, I don't want to think about that, Alan. Why put a string on it? I think the string would impede the spin a little bit. I'm hoping that's going to be the case, Jared. There was one other maker that had a couple of hammers for sale at the last show, but they were very small and they were more kind of showpieces. Like there was a Damascus hammer and a wrought iron with a steel face hammer. And I don't think he sold either of those. Can't remember who suggested it, but someone suggested in one of my live streams that I take a log and sit one of my hex hawks in a log. So I'm doing that because I like that idea. It just means that I have to friggin' schlep a log there. Yeah, Damascus hammer. It's on my list. It'll get there eventually. I'm not a huge fan of Damascus, to be honest. I understand as far as the market goes, I understand its necessity because it's pretty and it's not easily made on a production scale, which means it's more easily done artisanally. So I will probably be making a lot more Damascus this year, especially once I get my new forge built. But I'll always be a mono steel kind of guy. Mono steel heads. Purple Heart for the handle. I've used Purple Heart in the past for knife handles, but I've never had a big enough piece to make a handle, like a hammer or axe handle out of it, so I don't know how well that would hold up. Though I have heard it is a little brittle. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like doing Damascus purely for the creative aspect that allows, like playing with patterns and like showing your technical prowess. I think that's where a lot of my interest is coming from. But then in that instance, my interest lies more in doing stuff like bloomery steel and trying out woots and stuff like that, where the pattern is inherent to the material that you're using, but there's a little bit more history behind it. There's a little bit more reason for it to be there. Yeah, well, hopefully yours goes well, Alan. Of course, you're in a position to get more if the first one breaks. Being here in Australia, our selection of woods is incredibly limited. But Sam, I hear you say, you used color on your big Muso buoy. Yes, that was brought in from Hawaii. Hey, Paul, how's it going? Congratulations on getting into the paper, man. That looks freaking awesome. Hey man, I haven't been featured in any paper, so you're one up on me. Yeah, lucky you, Alan. Bastard. Anyway, you heard nothing. After all this fine detail work, being able to just kind of go with it, just sand to 240 grit and she'll be right. So relieving. Oh, cool. Paul, I'm having to take out about $1,000 to get to the show. So that maxes out my loan, and I have no idea how I'm going to make it back as it is. So no, I won't be buying that amble as much as I would love to. This show has beggared me. Well, Alan, I'd have to make a $3,000 knife first, and then I'd have to find someone stupid enough to buy a $3,000 knife off an unknown bladesmith. There's that imposter syndrome coming back again. I had a couple of people ask me why I made a smooth handle version of the Hexlock with a slightly shorter handle. This one. This one is a thrower. This one is designed for throwing. It's got no taper this way or this way, so it slides smoothly out of the hand. It's got no facets on it. It's rounded. It's going to be a good thrower, that one. These ones, on the other hand, are octagonal. Bring out the light. They are octagonal, and they are flared, so they stop in your grip. Very useful. Are you going to buy the anvil, Paul? I already know the answer, but you asked me, so fair's fair. I heard he's doing a cash price. Well, I appreciate that. I think if I sell everything on my table, let's average it out. So 300 for 2, so that's $900 in hammers, and then 5 times 3 is. What the hell is 5 times 3? Oh God, 1,500. 50. Is that right? No, that can't be right. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Yeah, it is. So that's 24. Okay, yeah, I could afford it if I sold everything on my table. But last year I sold 2 knives for the length of the entire show. So I'm not going into it with high expectations. Oh, it's incredibly tempting. I would friggin'... Yeah, Alan, I don't think that's how transactions work. Oh, but I do wish that it was so. Yeah, no, it's fantastically tempting. I have used a dent sponge for hand sanding. Honestly, with the faceted handles, I'm happy to just do it by hand, to be honest. I would hope so, Paul, but I don't know, man. My brain has not been my best friend these last couple of days. I'm convinced that I'm going to go there, sell nothing, look like a fuckwit. All my work's going to be pulled the piss out of by everyone, and I don't know. Good old imposter syndrome. I do have business cards and flyers I'll be taking to the show. Nice. 240 grit's a good grit to stop on for this kind of stuff. Yeah, like, the thing is, Paul, is if I sell everything on my table, I'll be able to cover my loan and have 2K left over. But the problem is that 2K is then going to last me until my next paycheck, which God knows when that will be, because I won't have anything to sell at that point. And so I'll be working my ass off trying to get the money back, and I'm still trying to save to go to America next year. My tooling needs more attention. There's a lot of things, man. Like, it's just a lot. I owe $16,000 on my loan, and I'm paying 14.8% per annum, compounded monthly. It's fantastic. And with all of my attention being put on the show for the last month, I've made almost $0 in the last 4 weeks. Fortunately, my patrons will be coming through on the 1st. So, well, on the Monday, which will be the 3rd. So, even if I sell nothing, at least I'll be able to cover the loan repayment. Thanks, patrons. You're keeping me alive, literally. Yeah, that's rough, Paul. Do you have a full-time job? Or is he blacksmithing the only thing you do? Yeah, Jared, you're literally keeping me alive, man. I really appreciate it. Yes, it's a faceted handle. So, the whole idea around the Hexhawks... Hey, Wiley. So, the Hexhawks, they're a faceted head. They're pretty cool. I like them. I'm a big fan of my Hexhawks. And so because they were faceted heads, and I really like faceted stuff, I decided to do faceted handles. The facets are rounded, so it's a very comfortable handle. It's got really good edge. It's got really good edge alignment. Like, you can really feel where the edge is. It doesn't cause hot spots or anything like that. It's actually pretty comfortable. See you, Jared. Yeah, I rent. So yeah, they're a very strong handle. Yeah, I get that, Alan, and I appreciate it. Whether or not I can sell anything kind of matters as far as who I am as a businessman, though. Because if I can't sell things, then my business isn't viable, and if my business isn't viable, I have to give up my dream, and if I have to give up my dream, I'm probably just going to give up living. Because, honestly, blacksmithing has kept me alive, and it's now the reason that I stay alive. This is what I do. Hey, Curtis. Yeah, this has become who I am. This is what I do. This is everything about me now. I live, eat, breathe, sleep, work, bladesmithing. And by extension, you guys have all become part of my life. I'm always thinking of new ways to share cool information or cool projects with you guys. Yeah, crowds at shows are always a bit of a bastard. Last year I was actually a little stunned that I didn't sell almost anything, but shouldn't have been surprised. Perth hasn't been the home of knife shows for over 17 years. So, it's not used to having knife shows anymore. And so most of the populace aren't knife collectors, and the ones that are tend to go other places to get their knives. Well, yeah, that's kind of why I use octagonal-shaped handles in a lot of things. Martin? I think it is Martin, isn't it? Yeah. If you'd prefer I use M&S, just tell me. But yeah, octagonal handles. They're awesome. And I have 2 of them. Now I've got to go put the wedges in them. So you guys are going to come with me while we do that. And then we'll come back here and oil them. Yeah, shows are a weird kind of weird roller coaster. Hoping this year is going to be a bit better than last. Don't cut yourself on the very, very sharp axes. Here we are back in the shop. Yeah, I would, except we're inside, Curtis. They don't want us doing anything. Indoor show. I agree, Curtis. Wholeheartedly. Ready, set, go. Well, that's true, Paul, and I'm really looking forward to dinner on this Saturday night. It's going to be great to hang out with the guys again. Something makes me confident, yeah. Yeah, I would do that. I plan on doing that one year, Curtis. Once I get a tablet, that will be part of the plan. So, cut some shower wedges. Ready to get set, let's go. Just like that. Yeah, awesome, Paul. It'll be good to see you, buddy. Yeah, hand sanding. I would. The tables aren't very steady, and again, they don't want us doing anything that might ruin the carpet. That's the wrong one. Yep. Yeah, I'm always standing. I don't sit at shows. Don't sit at shows. It's a bad idea. Using a dry for something it was never intended to do. That went wrong. That went very wrong. So I'm going to do it again. That went right. Just going to cut one more. Yeah, I'm not going to have the space for that, Curtis. Again, it's not that kind of show. If you've ever been to Blade Show in Atlanta, that's kind of what it's like. Not that I haven't been to Blade Show in Atlanta, but I speak obviously by repute and from looking at photos. Do the same thing to that one. See you, Bryce. Rabbi. Okay. Rabbi has 2 Ds. There's a joke in there somewhere. Someone made a joke about a Shakespearean rabbi. 2 Bs or not 2 Bs? Alright. Yeah, it might be a good one for the Forge Cast cat. Definitely think about that. I've been thinking about doing like a mental health episode. We've been trying to steer away from the darker subjects. We are, after all, trying to entertain folks, not depress them. Yeah, I don't filter mileage normally. Yeah, the algorithm can be a little bit of a bastard for that. Oi. Trick is to try and not get glue on the handle while you're seating it. Well, that didn't work. It worked fine enough, but... Damn it. No. The Kiradashi. Useful for more than just marking out. Is that rain out here? It's raining. What a wonderful time. Now it's going to grind. I have done taper fit handles before. For these specifically, I'm sticking with the wedged because of their intended use. For dedicated throwers, most of the time, I'll do a tapered fit. But with these ones, I prefer to do a wedged. It's kind of part of the appeal for me. Plus, I really don't like taper fit axes or tomahawks. even when done really well, they come loose real easy. And I don't like constantly having to readjust my handle. Like I said, for dedicated throwers, I'd normally do it. But on hex hooks, they're wedged. Plus, I'd ruin the profile to try and do a tapered fit on these ones. Because the eye being so small means that I can have those nice flats on the side. The eye is a hammer eye. If I was to make a taper fit handle to fit a hammer eye, the handle would be microscopic. Most people would find it way too small, and it would be really flimsy. Having a wedged handle means I can have a decent thickness of handle that's going to stand up to some abuse. In order to make a tapered fit eye, I'd have to make it much bigger, and that would destroy the hex hawk profile completely. It would become an entirely different beast. Samtown's hex hawks. They are wedged. That's the catchphrase. Back inside. It's raining. It smells awesome. I love rain. Hopefully it rains a bit tomorrow as well. Put the camera down for a minute. Multiple doors. Hey, Jay. Down. So many things that can damage my axe on the table right now. Whew. I've been right here, man. I've been right here. Hex hook shot? Apparently not. Block me? Yeah. I didn't block you. I haven't blocked anyone. I don't normally block people. It's in 2 days, Fox Run. Normally, if I have an issue with someone, Jay, I'll take it to them. And the reason I'll block someone is if they're very obviously trolling, or if they're not adding anything useful to the conversation and just shooting people down and stuff like that. Being a menace. So yeah, the show's in 2 days. It's on Saturday. The countdown is on. Well, I hope so, Mike. I definitely hope so. quick trick about oiling axes: if you glue your wedges in, don't immediately go to oiling the head. Don't stick it in oil or anything like that, because the oil will impede the drying process of the glue. So, because I have glued wedges, I'm going to leave the head dry. I'll apply the first coat to the handle now, but I'll let the glue in the eye dry before I oil it. I always doubt myself, Mike, right up to the moment I'm standing there. Yeah, after 24 hours you could dump it in the head first in the bucket, which is probably what I'll do. If you're not using glue, then that's fine. I just like the belt and braces approach. And technically speaking, the compression of the wedge inside the eye should have dried the glue already. Good way to check that is if you cut off the top, like I did. I could probably go out and get that for you, but I'm not going to because I'm lazy. But yeah, you can try and break that apart. Well, it doesn't hurt the metal. It doesn't actually do anything for the metal. I mean, I'll coat it in oil when I do the eye anyway. Whether I do it dumping it in a bucket of water or a bucket of oil, or whether I oil it by hand, I'll oil the head as par for the course. But all it does is leave a layer of oil on it. First time it gets used, that oil comes off. And depending on the oil, if it's something like linseed oil or something like that, you can actually etch the head over time. If it's a shiny head, linseed oil has acids in it, very mild acids. That's why they stopped using it for. Protecting museum pieces. For a long time, they were using a mixture of linseed oil and beeswax to protect museum pieces. But they found that over a year or so, the linseed oil and beeswax would actually start attacking the pieces, and so they'd have to strip it off and redo it. That's why Renaissance wax was developed, because Renaissance wax is a microcrystalline petroleum-based wax. It's completely inert chemically, so it doesn't react with metals. Yep, new Forgecast this week. We recorded it last week, and I'll be recording next episode tomorrow. We record Thursdays and week in advance. So we've already recorded this week's episode, and next week's episode will be recorded tomorrow night. Well, that's probably because you're not getting a tight enough fit with your wedge, Jay. Got to either expand your wedge or use a cross wedge, a steel step wedge. 2 weeks for the night show. 2 days. It's on Saturday. No, not nails. It's not that expensive. I bought a can of Renaissance wax 4 years ago, and I'm still using the same can. For the post-night show Forgecast, yes. Yeah, so next week's will be from this week, and then, yeah, week after that will be You got it. Yeah, no, don't use nails as step wedges. Bad. Bad, okay. Bad, okay. Well, if you... What did he put it in? Ferric? Yeah, did you use ferric chloride? Did you use vinegar? What did you use? Plus, are you talking Parker Edwards? Are you talking like a shotgun or a rifle? Cheers, Curtis. Because in that case, I would advise not. No, Alan. I was considering making you a moderator until that comment. You played yourself. Congratulations. Sheetrock screws. Jesus. Vinegar or battery acid aren't going to be a very strong etchant. I would suggest something like ferric chloride. Or make a very, very, very strong coffee. About 10 or 12 cups of coffee, a full can of coffee, in a tube that you can soak the barrel in, and sit it in there overnight. So 12 hours to 24 hours. That should give you contrast, and it won't give you too much depth, which is good. Especially if you're talking about a shotgun or a rifle. You definitely don't want to ruin that. If it's a rifle, don't etch it at all, because you'll screw the rifling completely. But if it's a shotgun, I still wouldn't do it. I'd at least plug the bore. Traditionally, they were etched prior to final lapping, so they were etched before they were finished. That crawled off the shoulder. I'm going to put steel step wedges in these. I'll make some steel step wedges tomorrow to finish those off, because the eyes are just a little bit loose front and back. I don't normally bother with steel step wedges if there's not a gap, but you can see there's just a tiny gap front and back. It's a knife, right? Well, if it's a knife, then best way to etch is ferric chloride. You want a 4-to-1 mix of water to ferric, and you want to do... I normally do 5-minute soaks. You can go longer, but I prefer 5 minutes because it's a little bit less aggressive, and I can kind of control how much I etch, which is important for me. Yeah. Okay, so we have 2 mostly finished. No, you don't have to keep the coffee at a certain temp. Yeah, I know, Alan. The industry standard's 4-to-1, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. The stronger the mix, the faster the etch. That's the rule. So we have one. This one's actually quite nice. It's got a lot of coloring. Unfortunately, the grain orientation's all wrong, but it was the only piece of spotted gum that I had hold of. So I like the patterning. It's not bad. Hopefully the handle holds up. This one has the proper grain orientation, but looks a lot more boring because it has the proper grain orientation. And that's how that shit works. You can't get your hands on ferric chloride, no. Why is that? There are a number of suppliers. Chance Knife Making sells it, I'm pretty sure. Hydrochloric or muriatic acid, as you Americans call it, will work. It just takes a bit longer. Pool acid, otherwise known as. Sulfuric will work, but that takes even longer than the hydrochloric. Yeah, well, 50-50, you're doubling the amount of ferric to water. Cool. This one's got a bit of an aggressive point. It's probably a little bit more of a thrower than a chopper. But this one's got the nice radiused axe edge that I like for my camp axes, which is what these are designed to be. Camp hatchets. 2 more for the show. Always nice to finish a project. Thank God for shop rags. Yeah, it's nice when you can get it off Amazon. Unfortunately, Amazon Australia doesn't sell that. Amazon Australia sells very little. The one thing that I want to get my hands on but are completely illegal in Australia or illegal to import because you have to ship them in over by air or by ship, doesn't really matter, is Strike Anywhere matches. Loves me some Strike Anywheres. Unfortunately, they're a gigantic fire risk, which means that no shipping company in the world wants them on their planes. When I was young and dumb, before I knew better, I actually bought 2 boxes from Turkey, and they came here, and I got them. But then I read about, one of my friends pointed out to me that that was super dumb, and I could have potentially killed a number of people. And I kind of went, oh, I'm not going to do that again. So, you can make your own, I just haven't bothered. It's a lot of work for not a lot of result. Pro tip: if you're like me and somehow end up amassing a giant collection of flathead screwdrivers for which you have absolutely no use, they make really cool chisels. So I use them. I make them into little fine detail chisels. And I don't care if I screw them up, so I can do stuff like cut the rag from underneath the head of an axe or hammer and pushing it into the metal, which on a knife would screw the knife completely, but on a little chisel like this makes little to no difference because it's really easy, stupidly easy to put a new edge on. I also use these to get down inside the muriatic acid. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. You can use muriatic acid. It's just a bit slower than ferric. Doesn't provide the contrast either. You know what? This is a good chance for me to use my new toy. Got it in the mail. I am very aware of the sharp blade in front of my face, just in case anyone's feeling like needing to point it out. This Optivisor is amazing. Can't believe I didn't buy one till now. They're not even that expensive. I visited my friend D. Hedges recently and spied one of these in her shop. And yeah, it's been really fun to play with. They're very, very useful for this kind of job where you need to look closely at things. They're what most engravers start with as well, before you get the, like $3,000 microscopes and shit that other people use. This set cost me $30 Australian, shipped, and it comes with 4 sets of the lenses, from 1.5 power to 3.5 power. Currently, these are using the 2.5 power. I like it. Very useful. You can be sure you'll be seeing more of them in the near future, as I go about my daily routines. Yeah, well, I've been able to see parts of myself that, I thought were long lost, so it's been nice. Also coming this year, some copper forging. This is some 20, I believe it's 20 mil, though it could almost be an inch. Could almost be inch round. I think it's 20 mil. I have a ruler. Ruler will do. I was looking for my... like 20, 22 mil. In the mirror, yeah. So do I, sadly. Yeah, I do plan on making some Okamegane. Jared Russell, who was here earlier, my top patron and moderator and just all-round amazing guy, actually sent me a couple of little billets. Oh, you're working on some copper. Cool. Are you making some more copper roses? Because those are friggin' amazing, and you should bring one to Knife Show, because I want to see one up close. I'll bring my Optivisor, so make sure you do a good job. The scary thing is, now I have the Optivisor, I don't want to look at the knives that I've already made. Because I didn't have it when I made them. Yeah, fair enough, curiosity. I do plan on making some Mokamegane. I also have this brass sheet that I cut the liners for the Muso buoy out of, so I might add some brass to it as well. Do some brass, copper, and nickel. Just for shits and giggles. Hey, Dogbone, how we going? Nah, but seriously, man, I would love to see one of those copper and steel roses that you do. They are incredible. Yeah, well, so the stack that Jared sent me was like nickels and dimes, I think. Or like nickels and quarters, dimes and quarters. I don't know. It was a couple of cobbles. Old hot water tanks. Ah, cool. I get a lot of my copper sheet from copper water pipes and gas pipes. I have some like 40 mil diameter copper water pipe from a construction that was going on at a shopping center I was working at. I have like 50 kilos of the stuff. I'm planning on melting a bunch of it down. I actually have some pure tin, some 99.999% pure tin. So I plan on making some pure copper tin bronze. to make swords. Yeah, I'm alright, Dogbone. I'm getting there. I'm burning out, man. I'm tired. Probably. Something like that. Yeah, Jared just sent me a stack of coins and stuff. What was I talking about? Yeah, I plan on making some copper tin bronze once I get my foundry set up. And, yeah, so I also have a bunch of copper sheet lying around. I also have silicon bronze. I have this, which is, I think this is brass. This is brass. This was used as a plumbing cap on a inspection plate. It was huge. It was like, this round, and I've cut it up into corners and stuff. Yeah. So it was. You can see that's the outside radius, and about like that. So yeah, it was pretty big. And yeah, I've got a whole bunch of it. Actually, this is bronze. This was cast bronze. I had them all metallurgically tested. This is silicon bronze. This was originally used as a bearing plate. You can actually see where it's had all of the wear on it. Yeah. So I've got a couple of chunks of this bearing plate silicon bronze to use for guards and stuff, and I plan on melting a bunch of it down. I've got a bunch of this to melt down into bars. I want to go down to Bunbury and visit my good friend Big Stack D. Do some melting. That'd be good. I would imagine that the old water tanks are lined with copper because sheet metal tends to be a little bit rusty. So it's not good for water tanks. Yeah, he's in Bunbury, yeah. I was surprised myself, which is why I ended up making him those tongs that I made for him. It's because it was relatively inexpensive to send them to him. Cast bronze hexhawk. Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool. It'd be pointless, but it'd be cool. Might have to do that. Solid idea. Now you got me thinking. I'm very sad. Unfortunately, my hexhawk that's getting engraved is not going to arrive before the show. I was very upset when I found that out, because I was hoping to have that there as a centerpiece. It was going to be my pride and joy, but sadly not so. But I did get a glimpse. I told Ty not to send me any photos of it because I kind of want to be surprised. I love surprises. I love getting random shit in the mail and just being like, oh my god, what is this? This is amazing. I love that kind of stuff, which is why I love Stefan and Alex and stuff like that. And Jared. I occasionally get stuff from you guys and it's like, wow, what is this? This is so cool. So it's always nice to do that. And so yeah, so I told Ty I don't want to see photos of the work in progress. I told him that he could post it on his forums and stuff if he wanted to. I was just going to avoid the forums because I didn't want to see it. And he said, no, listen, I won't put anything up until it's finished. But he did send me like a beginning photo of like how he was, like what he was going to do at the start. And I kind of flashed a glance at it and then deleted it so that I wasn't kind of sitting there poring over it. But from the flash that I saw, it looks freaking incredible, and I'm super excited to see it coming out. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to do something extra special for the handle. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh. given that it's going to be like fully engraved and shiny and all kinds of stuff, I'm thinking I might do like a ridiculous wood handle. Like Joel Murray Timbers is going to be at Perth Knife Show this year, and they do all kinds of cool exotic woods, mostly Australian exotic woods. And I want to see if I can get like a billet of something big enough for a hex hawk handle from them that I can turn into a really cool hex hawk handle for that. Hey Bob, how you doing? Yeah, laminated handles is cool. I like laminated handles. I mean, I say I like them. I don't like them. I do like them. I don't. I do bow making with a master bow maker. Occasionally, I actually have 2 bows from him. 4 bows, 3 bows, 3 bows, almost 4. I'm waiting for my 4th one. He's building it at the moment. But we do laminated longbows and self bows and stuff like that as well. But yeah, mostly laminated longbows, shelved laminated longbows, and yeah. So I'm aware of the crossbows are illegal in Australia without a license. Twisted laminated handles, cool. Yeah, no, crossbows are illegal in Australia unless you've got a license for them. Even medieval reenactment ones, not legal, sadly. There is one state in Australia where you need a license to own a sword. Fuck apart, fucking ridiculous. Anyway. There is definitely a country more strange than yours, Stefan. Absolutely. Don't even get me started. When I tell my American brethren, protect your freedoms, there's a reason. Six foot. All right. Wow, that would be impressive. More oil. Lunch, Lady Doris. Have you got any grease? See you, Foxtron. £1,000 siege crossbow, yeah. Well, yeah, you'd have to, Alan, in order to do that kind of thing. That would require some really strong intergranular kind of bonds to get that kind of thing to pull off. But it would look really cool. I suppose my problem with veneer or laminate of any kind is that a lot of it looks really tacky. There are a couple of occasions where a laminate looks really good, like on some rifles. I enjoy some of the Remington laminate that they use on their 700 series, especially the Varmint series. I always wanted to get a 700 SPS in like 243 or 22-250 and doing a thumb hole. Maybe. The problem is that the glue might be inhibited by the steam, or the heating of the moisture would probably inhibit the glue bond. So yeah, you'd be pushing excrement up an incline. To coin a phrase. I should bring that hunter out here and oil it up while I'm sitting here oiling things. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I wonder where my glove shall go. Points for anyone who can guess which movie that's from. It's not a watt handle, it's a European style handle. What are you talking about, Samuel? Yeah, for sure. It's all about the quality of the materials. And artistic taste. But yeah, like I said, Remington does some pretty good laminates, and Ruger has done some pretty decent laminates too. I really liked the blue-gray laminate that they used for the Ruger Gunsight Scout, another rifle I always wanted. Oh, sometimes it really sucks being an Australian. Hey Ben, just got to work. I love the fact that you just got to work and you're immediately going on to a live stream. Well, you missed all the exciting bits, Ben. As usual. Late to the party, as always. Now I'm just sitting here oiling my tool. Talking to you guys. Knives are tools, okay? Not weapons. I'd show you my weapon, but, you know. That'd get me immediately kicked off YouTube. I think I phrased that beautifully, Alan. I don't know what you're talking about. Really like this red wood with the white G10 liners. This speckled jarrah. You can see the speckling in it. And then the white liners. That Coke bottle style handle. That little hump in it. It's stupidly comfortable. I love this knife. Really want to keep it, but I can't. So I won't. The stream is deployed. Yeah. Yes. Never got into Archer, funnily enough. Before my time. After my time. During my time. Not my style. No, I think the main problem was the people that I knew that were watching it were all wankers, so I didn't want to be associated. So Archer kind of got guilt by association. The other cool thing is this actually has an auto hormone. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to be able to show this on camera. Let's see if I can. Slidey. Don't mind me, I'm just mangling my... there we go. See if I can show it. There it is. Look at that. You can see the auto hormone. And you can really see that speckled jarrah. God, I love this knife. Very clean 800 grit satin finish. She's a beaut. Tapered tang. Gotta be happy. Gotta be happy with that. It's my favorite knife out of the bunch, and it's the one that I spent the least amount of time on. Ain't that always the way? And then we have the Hex Hawks, as per usual. Nice faceted handles that we finished up today. Not sure on the price yet, Paul. Still got to figure it out. I was intending to make a sheath for it. I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough time. So yeah, 2 Hex Hawks, all faceted and ready to go. All oiled up. Just got to oil the heads. But yeah, I'm not sure how much this one's going to go for. Probably $400. Maybe $350 if I'm shouted down. And if it survives the show, then I'll probably put it up on Etsy, and my Patreons will have access to a discount for it. So who knows? Might go to them. If I sell it for $400, I'll probably include a sheath, but it'll be on the proviso that I make the sheath after the show. It's 1084, which is why I think I got that little auto hormone at the back there. You can see it. It's actually pretty active. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's funny. This knife had about like a quarter of the time in it as the Muso and the Japanese fusion buoy, and I just love it. Every second of it. The other really cool thing is that this that notch in the blade, that wasn't ground or filed in. That was forged in, and I've left the forge scale in there to prove it. Let's see if I can get the light in there. Yeah. That choil there was forged in. I'm very proud of that. It's a Lin Ray style of forging. Anyway, it's enough of me jerking myself off. You don't need to see that. Very pleased. Very pleased. We are most amused, to use the royal way. Off with the black gloves. Feel like a surgeon. Except not quite as precise. Thanks very much, Wiley. I pride myself on making clean work, even if it doesn't look great. I'll be doing a showcase on Friday that I'll probably upload Friday of all the knives that I take and all the hammers and axes and stuff. I'll do a full layout like I did last year. I'll do a full layout of everything that I'm taking to the show. So if you're interested in what I'm taking to the show and wanting to see close-ups and all that kind of stuff, then stay tuned for that. That's the back of a fan or a basement surgery. Suppose that's true. But yeah, if you're wanting to see all the stuff that I'm taking to the show, then fear not. I will be doing a video on everything and showing it all in detail. So there's that. If you're more interested in the build stuff, then you could probably join my Patreon. You can get a look at it there. Otherwise, yeah, there will be a live stream on Sunday. I won't be live streaming Saturday, as usual. Because I will be at the show and I'll be a little bit busy. So I'll be doing it at 11 a.m. on Sunday, the 2nd of February. I'll put up a community post about it. So yeah, if you want to check out the live stream for the show, that'll be at 11 a.m. Australian Western Standard Time on Sunday the 2nd, which will be 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on... yeah, I won't be streaming just from my table. I'll be walking the whole show. So you'll get a look at everything. So it'll be 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday the 1st for you Americans. But anyway, with that being said, I'm going to bugger off. And I will see you on Friday with the final reveal of all of the shit that I'm taking tonight's show. So hopefully I'll see you then. I might do it as a premiere, so I'll be there with you. And you guys can all give me shit on how bad my stuff looks. Alright guys. Thanks very much. Catch you later.